It doesn't do anything. Emrakul literally steals a turn.
It is a display of wealth.
5 green pips for a 10-10?
How many people have those stupid statue lions in their front yard and koi ponds and all that shit that doesn't do anything but say, I have money? That's what I want.
They're not trying to win a game.
They're trying to win the game of life.
Fine. You know what? We'll put it in. We'll put it in, and then you'll be like, holy shit, this card is dead fucking weight. And I want more Emrakuls and Ulamogs in the deck.
And I'll play them all.
Hey everyone, this is Ian with the cEDH Sermon, and unfortunately Trevor can't make it today because he picked up his entire life and moved across the country, so he's a little busy, but special someone decided to rescue me for this episode, so I've got my wife Jamie here, and what we're going to do is, she doesn't play competitive Commander at all. She hardly really plays actual Commander or Magic in general, but she knows a little bit. So we're going to pick a hypothetical, maybe real deck for her. So we're going to go over some Commanders and kind of see what she ends up liking. So, hey, how are you? Hey. All right, so I see you have some notes there.
Yes, I made some requirements. So for my commander, I think I'd like my theme to be just power, like raw trample power. I don't care about like any manipulative, logical tactics. I just want like pure, like trample brute force.
Okay. So I will say that competitive commander is that the power is the key word. That is something, we do have that. Now, when you say trample, you mean like the effect where you're like attacking and running everyone over.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want probably something with some sort of combat, at least as a backup plan, at the very least.
Yeah.
Because I will say, cEDH, it differs from what you're used to. So I will start out by saying, like, your favorite commander that you always play is Animar.
Yeah.
Because you like getting all the big creatures and swinging on everyone.
Right.
Gotcha. So in competitive, it's a little bit different because doing combat damage to 3 other players is a little bit more inefficient compared to some sort of infinite combo that'll kill everyone at once. So that's likely going to be, for almost every deck, the initial game plan, but you can always have a backup plan as beaten face. And there's plenty of decks that beat face regardless. So we'll find you something.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the next requirement?
Okay. So how many cards are in a deck?
99 in a commander, or sometimes there's the partner commander. So you could have 2 that are partners and it would be 98 in those 2.
Okay. Well, I would like to be able to play as many of the cards in the deck as possible. So...
Oh, at once, like going off, like
I'd like
great.
to have a lot of them on the field. I'd like to be able to see a lot of the cards. If there's 100 in the deck, I'd like to see as many as possible.
Okay.
Next, I have how many big dick power plays I can make.
Okay, so what is your definition of a big dick power play?
Honestly, big creatures. I like that. I like just a scary card on the board in the sense that it does a lot of damage.
Okay, so you want people to be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're showing off a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. And then anything else?
Yes, I'd like to have high cost mana cards out there.
It's like the opposite of what the format is, like all 1 drops, 2 drops, maybe a couple stuff, but okay.
Yeah, I know you explained to me earlier when I said I wanted the like best cards out there, and I don't think you understood because you said, well, the best cards tend to be the ones that, you know, are low cost and do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And like I want to have the medieval nobility mentality where like, sure, like it would make more sense to serve potatoes at a feast, cheap and nutritious and feed a lot of people. But I want to serve quail eggs at my feast here.
What the fuck are quail eggs?
Bird eggs. Like nonsensical.
Like the quail is in the bird, and
it's a status symbol.
It's a status symbol. Okay.
Like there's no rhyme or reason. It's just saying I can afford this. So I want stuff that's like, yes, this costs like 6+ mana. Just
okay,
to get
when you say
there.
afford, so you don't mean like expensive cards as in to go out and buy. You just want them to be like as in the mana in the game.
How I view mana is like currency almost. So just to be able to show off, like, yes, I have this much mana available. I can afford to put this card into play.
Okay.
I like that idea.
Okay, we can work with that.
That exudes power to me.
Anything else, Your Highness?
Yes.
Holy shit, really? Okay.
Yeah, the last one is how many Ulamogs can I put in this deck?
Okay, I think there's only 3 Ulamogs, actually. Let me see. I'm not spelling this right at all. Maga. I know there's a new one. The Defiler. This is the new one. Because you have Infinite Gyre and Ceaseless Hunger. Those are in... Okay, I guess we're plugging TCG Player right now. 10 mana. When you cast a spell, target opponent exiles half their library rounded up. Or they would have to sacrifice 2 permanents to even target this. Enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it, equal to the greatest mana value among cards in exile. And then Ulamog has Annihilator X, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on it. Interesting. It's kind of good.
So there's basically four Ulamogs?
I think there's 3.
Okay, 3.
Yeah, because there's the Defiler, and then there's Ceaseless Hunger and Infinite Gyre, and then this is another art for Defiler right here.
Okay. Well, I mean, bonus points if we can get all 3 of them in there.
Okay. I will say there's not very many decks at all that have it in there, but there is one, and it actually, I already kind of knew that you liked Ulamog so much, so it is on the list. So just for everyone out there, I put these... I picked them based on what I thought she might like, what maybe a beginner would have fun with, someone that's not used to cEDH would have fun with. So if you have a loved one or a friend or something that you're trying to get them into it, you can use this as an example for that. But the 10 that I have on here are, I've got Animar, I've got the new Final Fantasy 1 Celeste, the Rune Knight, I've got Winota, I've got Atraxa, I've got Paco Halden, I've got the Gitrog monster, Selvala, Heart of the Wilds, Yoshimaru and Thrasios as a pairing, Yuriko, and Lord Windgrace. And I feel like that's kind of it's a diverse enough cast of commanders. So we'll go through each one of them. Let's start with Animar, which you already know, and you like Animar. So the thing that's different, let's look at, this is called Animar Core. That's kind of compiled some of the best Animar players kind of work together to put this list together. So unfortunately, you'll see if we go down to mana curve, the highest thing is only 6 mana. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't build your Animar and have an Ulamog in there. It's just going to might not be as useful. But what this deck usually wants to do is get Ancestral Statue, because you know how Animar gets those counters on it whenever you cast a creature, and this one is all colorless. So as long as you have 4 or more counters on Animar, you can keep casting this over and over again for free, and infinite times. Animar gets giant. And then what you can do with that, I'm guessing there's something that either draws cards every time a creature enters or does damage. So you'll basically say, okay, I'm doing damage, like infinitely, and kill everyone. I mean, that could fall under the big dick play.
I do like that. Craterhoof Behemoth. Is he in this?
He is not.
Okay. That would have to be in there.
You could. I could. It's not typically a card because that you see play as much, because getting up to the 8 mana, by the time you're up there, because here's the problem that could happen in cEDH. You play Craterhoof for 8 mana, you tap out all your stuff, and you're ready to kill everyone, and someone plays Counterspell. Now, you have Counterspells, but, it's like, that sucks if your 8 mana thing gets countered and you don't have a Counterspell to protect it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have something cheaper, maybe a little better. So, same idea of getting counters on Animar, but the main thing is you're trying to go off with some combos. So, where would you think you'd like to put it on the tier list so far?
So, maybe do final choice right now, and let's try to change my mind if there's a better one.
Okay, so you're
Animar already.
Okay, we can even put it in favorite, since this is like one of your favorites, and then do the final as the final choice. If you're saying change my mind,
Yeah, change my mind.
Okay, all right.
Let's see if
This
you
will
can
be a
do
challenge.
it.
Okay, so we'll move on to Celeste. This is a new one. This one is my one selfish plug on here. I really like this one. It hasn't come out yet, but they spoiled it for the Final Fantasy Commander decks. This one, I'm going to build this regardless, so I don't care if you don't like it at all, but I think it could vary. This is my one shameless selfish plug here. So the reason I like this one is I like, kind of similar to you, where you're like, I want to see as many cards as possible. This one, you will. Her ability is when she enters, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. And then her secondary ability, whenever one or more creatures you control enter, if one or more of them entered from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So that one, both of those abilities are really good. And the reason why is, so let's just say you've got 4 cards in hand and you cast her, she enters, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to discard 3 of these. I get to draw 4 more. And then what you can do is there's cards that say exile something and bring it right back. It's called like flickering or blinking. So what you do is you'll flicker her and she'll leave and come right back. And you can do that again and say, well, I don't want these 3 lands right now. Throw those out, draw 4 more, or throw out 2 cards and draw 3. So you're kind of just really going to see a lot of your cards. You're also going to put a bunch of them in the graveyard, which is really good for this card right here, Underworld Breach. Everyone knows what this is, but basically, in simple terms, it allows you to play stuff from your graveyard. So you can kind of keep going off and like use your graveyard as almost like a second hand. So it's really cool in that regard. And then the main combo with her is there's creatures where if they come in, if they die, they come back with a -1/-1 counter. But because things that enter from a graveyard get a +1/+1 counter, they can infinitely go to the graveyard and come back and damage everyone. So something like, where is it? Is it not in this list? Interesting. There's one that's like this, Putrid Goblin. It has Persist is what it's called. But there's one where it says whenever it enters, deal a damage to any target. So you could have your creatures be coming back and doing damage. Just kind of like a nice overall bunch of different combos. Creatures get counters and stuff.
Interesting.
So
go back to that goblin.
This thing?
Could he be a commander?
He can't be a commander.
Oh, because I do like him.
I mean, he is a 2/2 with Persist, and that's all he's got going for him. He doesn't have much going for him. Is it just because he's gross looking?
No, I like the persist factor. Something about that speaks to me.
I mean, that's the main combo. This is called Breach and Persist combo.
Okay, interesting.
There's another Lesser Masticore. I guess that's... Oh, yeah, and another thing. I did try and pick ones that would have some either cats or dogs in them, because I know you're a huge cat and dog lover.
Dogs.
So I guess it's a Masticore, but I mean, it's kind of like a big cat.
That's an interesting thing.
And this is also another one with persist. So.
Okay, that's interesting.
So what are we thinking here?
Huh. I would say, and the maybe, kind of indifferent. Doesn't sound horrible. Doesn't have any. It doesn't speak to me on a deep level, but
and that's okay. It's okay. It's a maybe. It's not dog shit.
Yeah.
Which when I was making this, she saw me and she's like, "Can you make the last category dog shit?" And I'm like, "You realize like if any of these get put there, that's like a direct insult to me." but this I'm glad the one that was the shameless plug got put to maybe.
Yeah. I will say the art you showed does remind me of The Last Unicorn.
Oh, like this kind of stuff? A little bit.
That face specifically.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some fun stuff in there. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next one, which is Winota. So this one's a good beginner deck. Now, the only issue that I will preface this with is Winota can be a little bit of a lightning rod, and she's been struggling lately, mainly because people target her because she's so scary. Mm-hmm. This one, it's called Snowball Stacks. Comedian. He's I know I've told you about him. He's probably one of the best competitive players, but he kind of was one of the original people that helped come up with this deck list called Snowball Stacks, and it's because it snowballs out of control. And stacks is kind of a word for a piece or a card or a creature that kind of controls other players and changes the way they play the game, and it makes it rougher for them. So her main ability is whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, you look at the top 6 and you put a human out. So you kind of balance the humans and non-humans, but it comes in tapped and already attacking, and it's indestructible until end of turn. And then you put the rest on your bottom. But the cool thing about her is why it's such a snowball effect is there's a lot of these creatures. You also get to play a shitload of creatures. 49 creatures in a competitive deck is a lot. So let's say you put out on early turn, there's stuff like this, Ornithopter. It's free. So you put this out turn 1, a couple turns later, maybe you get another one. You play Winota, and you attack with 2 of these. So that means her ability happens 2 times. You look at the top 6 twice, and you put a human. But there's some of these humans that, let's see, there's maybe this one. When she enters, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token for each non-token creature you control. So then you're getting a bunch more non-humans. So your next turn, you might swing with 6 non-humans, and now you're looking for 6 more humans that are coming in indestructible, tapped and attacking your opponent. So this can absolutely get out of control. I can show you, not right now, but there's actually comedian's wife. Her name is Lua, and she really likes this deck. And there's a video where she's playing, and I swear it's either like on the first or second turn, not the second or first turn, maybe like the second turn she kills everyone. It's like that fast.
Oh wow!
It was like holy shit, because she just had like 20 creatures coming out at everyone. It was crazy. But I don't think the problem of her being targeted or anything, you're not going to go to a tournament or something. You're just going to be playing with us, if you would ever do this. So I do think this one would be a fun one.
Yeah, I do really like all the creatures because I like creatures more than spells or enchantments and stuff. So yeah, more creatures, the better.
That should be another requirement.
Yeah. More creatures, the better.
Yeah. I put this one on here because I'm like, it's good for beginners in the sense that the deck plays itself in a way kind of similar to how the casual version of Animar, where it's just like, you're just playing creatures. It's just happening. This one requires a little bit more thought of like planning out the non-humans, picking which are the best humans in the moment. But there's not really a wrong answer. It's just kind of like you're just going to be pumping out creatures and swinging in. But yeah, not too many spells or anything like that because she doesn't care about that. She just wants as many creatures as possible.
I do like that.
So what are we thinking about Winota?
Given all the creatures I could put out, I would say favorite options for now. I think the one, you're going to yell at me for this, but the one thing I don't like,
Little mug.
That, and there's a lot of humans. And when I like to play my decks, I like the weird, big monstrosity type creatures.
Okay, all right.
But as far as power goes and the creature play, I like all that. So she's up there.
Okay.
She's up there. But like even just looking at our list right now, her compared to Animar on top of her, that big monster. I don't even know what Animar is.
He's like an elemental where he's he's a mountain and a river's pouring out of his face and just like
that. I love that.
I know. Okay. Well, actually, speaking of kind of monstrosity creatures, Atraxa. Let's pull this one up here. Grand Unifier. Now they called this deck Apex Predator.
Okay, that alone.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Atraxa's a she. She's got some aura. I mean, even this art right here is pretty like, okay.
Anytime someone's holding a scepter like that.
Yeah, and there's explosions behind her.
That is.
Yeah, she's a Phyrexian angel. So the best way I could describe that is like angel in this world. If it has Phyrexian before it, that does not mean holy. This is about as unholy as it gets. So.
Oh, and I like the big, words like what does Phyrexian mean? Is that like a? It's
a creature type. I'm gonna butcher this. All the magic historians out there.
See, I like that. I like that. There's backstory to it.
Okay.
I like that.
All right. Okay. So this one, it's a 7/7. That's pretty big for a cEDH commander.
Yep.
She's got flying, vigilance, death touch, lifelink. Those are all keyword. Like lifelink means you gain the life when you do the damage. Death touch, anything that she even touches dies immediately. Vigilance, she doesn't tap when attacking. She just stays untapped so she can block. Mm-hmm. And then flying too. So it's like, yeah. One of the scariest commanders that once it's on board, I will say that. The main thing that you're doing with this deck, and you'll like this too, is you want to get her out. We should read the rest of the effect. So when she enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 10 cards of your library for each card type. So that means, like creature, planeswalker, sorcerer, each different type. You can put a card of that type from among the revealed cards into your hand, and you put the rest on the bottom of your library. So let's say you out of your 10, you get like 3 creatures, 2 instants, a sorcery, artifact. You get to pick one of each that shows up. So you're loading up your hand. You do get to craft a little bit. The point of this is you want that effect similar to the other one where I said that you kind of discard and see a bunch of cards. You want her to enter the battlefield. You can use effects to have Atraxa enter again. You don't have to keep casting her. You just want her to enter. So a card that you'll like here is Displacer Kitten. So whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So if you have this out and you play Atraxa, or what could even happen is you play Atraxa, you look at the top bunch of cards and you say, oh, there's my Displacer Kitten. I'll play that, and you play, a Lotus Petal, something super cheap. Well, Atraxa gets flickered and leaves and enters again. You get the effect again and look at all your stuff. Or you use another card called Food Chain, and there's these creatures that you can loop with Food Chain to get infinite creature mana, and then you just keep casting and killing your Atraxa over and over again. Yeah. Pretty much drawing your whole deck.
I like that.
So,
I see Thassa's Oracle. I always hear you talk about that. What is that?
Yeah, so this is probably the most common win con in the game. So even though there's all this text on there, basically what you want to do is it checks to see how many cards are left in your library. That's not really what it does. It's like it's a fancier way of basically saying if you don't have any cards left in your library or only like one card left, you instantly win the game. So what you can do is go through your whole deck with Atraxa by flickering it and getting the effect over and over again, and you get either you have drawn your whole deck and you just play Thassa's Oracle, or the combo that everyone does is you play Thassa's Oracle, and as the effect is going off, you say, in response to the ETB, which is enter the battlefield, I'm going to cast Demonic Consultation, or Tainted Pact is the other one, which basically you just exile the rest of your library right then and there. So it's really hard to stop. Once, if they don't counter spell the Thassa's Oracle, they'll just draw through, you play the next one and you draw through your whole deck or exile the whole thing and instantly win.
Okay.
So
what's the battles card mean?
Yeah, this is a new card type. It's basically a sorcery, but once you use the initial effect, which this searches for a creature and you put it out, the battle goes on an opponent's side. So you can pick, and it had that 6 at the bottom is basically its the battle's like life points, I guess, and you just need to do 6 damage to it. And if you do 6 damage to that battle, which they can block and protect, but if you do 6 damage, it flips, and then you get this 8/8 dinosaur with reach.
Oh, okay. 8/8 dinosaur.
Yeah, I know you like that.
Yeah.
I mean, this can be put in other decks too, but I think you're liking the Traxa a little bit.
I would say this is my...
So if we go back...
For now, put it, I would say, next to Animar.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Or do you want to say, like, above Winota on the favorites?
Above Winota in the favorites,
okay.
Yeah.
Because we still haven't... We're still... I mean, basically, it's here or here.
Yeah, it's in the running.
Okay.
I will say it is... Would choose that over Winota.
Okay. Fair enough. Cool. Then, okay, next one is Paco Halden. I did not... See if we can find a primer for this. Primer Paco Attack. I like how they put an elevator pitch. This is a deck that looks to hit people as often as possible with a large dog. That's about it. This is the deck for you if you're into winning through combat and commander damage. Okay. You're into casting spells from your opponent's deck. Yeah, you kind of steal your opponent's cards. You're okay casting Time Warp and Seize the Day effects, which are basically additional combats or additional turns. You don't like taking more than your fair share of turns or combat steps. I don't think that's you.
Power level.
This is a high power deck. Please don't bring this list to a casual table.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll bring it to our table. I don't care.
Is this actually a cEDH deck, though? Oh, and it's outdated. Hold on. That's still a good... Okay. What the hell is that? Okay. Here's more of a cEDH list. Why do they have 5 of every card in here? What the hell is going on here with this list?
Why does he have a friend?
Oh, so they're partner with. So I think I've told you that there's certain commanders that are like partners, and you can mix and match them. There's actually a one other option that I put on the list that is partners, that they don't necessarily go together, but you can mix and match. This one is, it says partner with Paco, and this one says partner with Halden. So what Paco does is you attack with him, and you exile the top card of each player's library and put a fetch counter on each of them, and then put a +1/+1 counter on Paco for each non-creature cards exiled that way. And then Halden is like, the reason I thought of this is like, your dad and Layla.
Yep.
Because they're like, and just so everyone knows, Layla is their silver lab that is like obsessed with Jamie's dad.
Oh, yeah.
She likes me too, but like, and then everyone else she's like kind of like indifferent about.
Yeah.
Me, I'm closer to the indifferent group than I am being loved by her, but she like loves your dad.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
So I just thought of them and I'm like, okay, that's your dad is Halden, Layla's Paco.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think Halden, you may play non-creature cards from exile with fetch counters on them. So it's kind of cool. Like Paco fetches the cards for Halden to cast. This is a really outdated list, but it kind of stands. Basically, you're just trying to swing with Paco, steal cards, cast them with Halden. Your Paco gets really big. It gets a bunch of counters on it. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, shit, this is like a 10-10 coming at people. And it's a giant dog. So it can be really fun.
I do like that.
It's also same color combo as Animar.
I noticed that. I do like that.
So I don't know as much about this one. I'll have to find a more updated list. But I do know a lot of people find this one. It's not as straight up powerful. You probably won't be the most powerful deck at the table in terms of like likelihood of winning. But it is really fun from what I've heard. People seem to really like this deck.
Okay.
So, any questions about it?
I would say it seems like a fun deck. I would like to play it at some point, but I don't know if it would be my main commander. But
Fair enough.
I'd put it in the maybe pile.
Okay. Probably above my shameless plug for Celeste.
Yeah.
At least you didn't put it down here.
No, there haven't been any. And when I say maybe, it's like I like it. I would play it at some point. Again, wouldn't be my go-to deck, but I would play it for fun.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Next one. This one's going to be pretty divisive. Mainly because there's the one thing going for it. Right out the gate. Let's scroll down to the creature right there.
Yep. I like that.
Now, the only thing is Ulamog is crucial to the deck, but not because you play it on the field. Yeah. The reason being is it's said one of its effects is when it's put into a graveyard from anywhere, the owner shuffles his or her graveyard into her library. And I don't even think I actually announced this for any of the listeners. We're talking about the Gitrog monster. Excuse me.
You better edit that out.
I'm not editing that. That's perfect. The frog, what do you think he did right after he ate that body in there?
I thought that was his tongue sticking out.
No, that's a arm.
I do like the picture. I do like the beast.
He's a frog horror with death. He's a 6/6 death touch. That ain't nothing.
I like that. I like this seems like some kind of like swamp monster.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. I kind of put this one on here more as a joke, and because I knew you'd like the Ulamog. The only sad thing is you don't ever really cast it.
See, I don't like that. That's almost worse than not having an Ulamog.
And the other thing is, not only is this deck like it still is, people are scared of it, but they understand it more, or at least how to stop it. It is very complex to play. Like the difficult part about a lot of times people will just say once you start the combo, they're like, yeah, no, you're good, you win, because what you have to do is infinitely shuffle through your deck. You get this land called Dakmor Salvage, which is dredge. So which has dredge, and if you draw a card, you may mill 2 cards instead, which means put 2 cards from your library into the graveyard, and then return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Gitrog says at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice it unless you sacrifice a land. You can play additional lands, and whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. So what you do is you infinitely loop Dakmor Salvage and Get Rog to mill your whole library and also draw everything, but you have Ulamog in there so that way you can keep going and you get it all back. And then you play something like I haven't even looked at this deck in a long time. There's usually some sort of spell or thing that does infinite damage to everyone. Or you can play a Praetor's Grasp, which I don't even see in here. This is, they updated it 2 days ago. So this is an up-to-date list. I am not familiar with it because it's so complicated, but I know a lot of times you can steal someone's Thassa's Oracle and win with their Thassa's Oracle. But yeah, I kind of put this on here as more of like a joke. But
yeah, I like the card being a, what is it, frog horror. I do appreciate that, but I'm a beginner with little to no magic knowledge, so a little complicated for me. And then major points deducted for having an Ulamog but not being able to cast it. So this is going to go in the probably not. The
Fair
only
enough.
thing saving it from dog shit is that I like the monster.
Okay. I figured you would, and I just wanted to show you that, okay, there are some things with Ulamog, maybe.
But that's a tease. That's
a tease.
That
Okay.
didn't work in your favor to entice
Okay.
me.
You know what? I don't want to hear it. And you know what? Actually, this next one that we're gonna go over is, I don't think anyone runs Ulamog in it, but here's similar to Animar, how no one has Ulamog in it. You could just put it in there and be like, fuck it, this is my version.
Yeah.
So this is Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. I forgot to put cEDH. Storm. They used to call it Bro Storm 3 months ago. Okay, so that's recent enough. Okay, so she's 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, so that's just anywhere. But consider, so that includes your opponents, but you're going to be playing the most creatures in this deck. So whenever it enters the battlefield, its controller may draw a card if its power is greater than each other creature's power. That's also not as likely because you want to play the highest powered stuff. So the hope is that essentially you're drawing most of those cards. And then you can pay a green and tap it, add X mana in any combination of colors where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So if you had an Ulamog out and it's like, what, a 10/10, you could tap this for 10 mana. And I don't see any Ulamogs, but there's some big boys in here. There's a Galta.
What's a Galta? I like that.
It's a 12/12, and it costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control, and it has trample.
Trample.
Okay. So there you go. You've also got the Great Henge, which is a giant artifact, but you can cast it for cheap. Another Galta.
Okay.
That's a 12/12 with trample, and when it enters the battlefield, put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield.
How come you have never showed me a Galta before?
This one's newer, but I actually used to have just a mono green Galta deck. Casual, but
I do like that it's not just a dinosaur, but an elder dinosaur.
An elder dinosaur. Oh,
Primal Hunger. I like the Galtas.
Okay. All right.
I did not know those existed.
Okay. All right. And you get to play them in cEDH, which is pretty cool.
I do like those.
So the kind of what you want to do is you want to get her out, obviously, and then you start casting creatures and then adding more mana to get more creatures. And eventually you can build up a pretty big board and win through combat damage, or there's some various combos. See, there's shit like this where it's like, what is that? It says it's an elemental, but it looks like a frog with horns.
See, I like those elementals too.
And let's see, you could honestly put in a Crater Hoof if you wanted to.
I feel like Crater Hoof would go nicely in this deck.
feel like it would too. People might give you shit for it, but it's like,
I
dude,
don't
when
care.
it's destroying them, you know,
What
you
do
get
you
to
guys-
play the King Kong card too.
That alone. All right. Let's go back to our rankings.
Really? Okay.
Move Winota down to maybe
Oh, okay.
and put this one. Yeah, it's like neck and neck with that one.
Okay. Okay.
And what did you say? Any potential to get an Ulamog in this deck?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, this is 12 mana, but it's going to cost a bunch less. But I mean, if there's going to be a deck where you have a shitload of mana, it's either this or Animar. So,
Okay. So Ulamog potential.
okay, Ulamog potential. I mean, dude, it's your list.
I know.
If you build it, you could
I like that.
just swap out something you don't like and just put in Ulamog and be like, fuck it. Just like Trevor and I say, this is our fucking show. If people don't like it, don't tune in.
Yeah. I like
So if people don't like your Ulamog, they can get hit by it. You can be like, this one's coming at you then.
this is up there.
Okay. And then there's even some combos in here where you turn, like Ashaya makes it so all of your creatures are land, I guess non-token creatures you control are forest lands in addition to your other types. And then this card's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands. So if you have 5 lands and 5 creatures, this is a 10-10 because all of those creatures are also lands. But then there's some combo with Quirion Ranger where you can return a forest you control to its owner's hand, which you can return Quirion Ranger, untap target creature, and then you untap your Birds of Paradise to add, and then you can tap it again, play the Quirion Ranger, remove it, tap it, remove it over and over again, and get infinite mana. There's you could play all your creatures and give them haste or swing. There's a bunch of stuff you could do. So yeah, I kind of threw this on here because I'm like, oh, big creatures. I didn't know you'd immediately. I should have known.
You should have known.
I should have known that you'd take to it so much. But okay, I like that that's up there. Okay, this is the next one. I mainly put it on here because it's partners and one of them is a dog.
I do like dogs.
Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful, and Thrasios. Now, I don't know as much about this deck, but it looks fun. And apparently this player is one of the top ranked players right now. And someone posted about this the other day and was like, this list is interesting. But basically, Thrasios is nice because you get infinite mana and you can pay to his ability to essentially draw your whole deck. But it's nice to have a cheap creature that you can get out early like Yoshimaru. It's his effect is whenever another legendary permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you put a +1/+1 counter on him. Not really going to be using that much, but there are some instances of legendary creatures. But it's nice to have a cheap creature that you can either sacrifice or get. There's free spells that say if you control your commander, you can cast this for free and you get to have him out immediately. So it's a dog partnered with a merman or a merfolk wizard, I guess, and you get infinite mana, have your whole deck in your hand and play whatever you want.
Any big power cards?
Let's see. Ooh, that's topping out at 5.
See, I'm gonna put this in a probably not then.
I don't blame you.
Love the dog, but my other options look like they do.
Probably not. Fair enough. And I don't know enough about that deck to go on and on. I don't know how to convince you otherwise. It looks cool, though. I might look into this one for myself, actually. Just because normally it's called Bant is the colors. Animar's Teamer. There's different names for each of the color combinations. Bant, the white, green, blue has never really spoke to me that much. But I don't know. This one actually looks really cool. So Sam Sapper, leave a comment. You suck, bro. By the way, wanna come on our podcast? Love you.
Oh, you actually commented that.
I think I did. Actually, I don't think I did. I don't think I'm logged in. That's probably for the best. I shouldn't just tell some random guy that he sucks. Sorry, Sam. Okay, good. Oh, so please sign in and register to comment the deck. Okay, that's good. I didn't actually want to tell him he sucks. I'll probably reach out to him because this deck does look really cool.
Yeah.
You got like really serious. You're like, oh, you really said that to him.
Yeah, that's mean.
I'm just kidding. He would know. I'd say that's why I'd follow up with, I love you, bro.
Like a Sour Patch Kid.
He's like this, but he's like the top player. He would.
So you bully him online?
No, it's not. He's such a joke. It's a joke.
Like, oh my god.
I'm sorry, Sam. I'm sorry.
I'm watching the making of an internet troll right here.
Making of a murderer is more like it. All right. I'm sure I actually have a Yuriko deck.
I know you play Yuriko.
So I kind of put this one on here because she's cool. She's fun. You get to do a lot of damage. It's not you're swinging, but the damage that you're doing is off the top card of your library. So you do the flex aspect is you put an Emrakul, the Promised End, on top of your library. You swing with Yuriko, and you deal 13 damage to each opponent. And you're like, yeah, motherfuckers, what's up?
I do like the Emrakul. But I don't like that you've played Yuriko and you've beaten me before, and I don't like that.
You're going to hold that against me? This is the more powerful version. Mine's like a high-powered ninja theme. You still are doing ninja tricks. This one's also kind of a tricky, but you even said earlier you don't want to do the logical shit. You just want to beat face. I just want
to come in with force.
Okay.
Pure brute force.
Now, this one is kind of like brute force through trickery.
No.
Not good enough. Okay.
Dog shit.
Dog shit? Fine. This is bullshit. You saw the Selvala and Atraxa, and you're like, fuck all these other ones.
Yeah.
Should I even show this last one?
Let's see it.
All right, this one's a little more of a fringe one, but someone told me that this was one of their favorite cEDH decks, and I thought I saw one that was 5 years ago. What the fuck? I thought it was like Turbo Lands. I think it was this one. 1 year ago. What the fuck? I thought there was... But okay, regardless. Now, I just remembered he's a planeswalker.
Nope.
And you don't like the planeswalkers for no reason. You're like prejudiced against planeswalkers. Like for no reason. Yeah, he's a lord and he's got a scepter.
He is a lord.
And he's a cat.
With cat. What's the deal with the planeswalkers again? What are they even? So
they're not a creature. They're just a planeswalker. But their health points are essentially their loyalty, which is 5. So it's not. They don't really have like a power and toughness. They don't attack, but they have these abilities, and you can use them once a turn cycle on your turn. So it comes in with 5 counters. So it has like 5 health, but you can do +2. So that turn, it goes up to 7. You discard a card, then draw a card. If a land card is discarded this way, draw an additional card. But you could also -3 him to return up to 2 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. And if you get up to 11, you destroy up to 6 target non-land permanents, then create 6 2/2 green cat warrior creature tokens with Forest Walk, which means they can't be blocked by people that have forests. So kind of like a mix of abilities there, but basically this is kind of like a lands combo deck where you can do some mean stuff here. I don't know. I haven't looked at the list, but I've seen people do shit where they're like, oh, I'm blowing up everyone's lands and I don't give a fuck because I'm fine. All my stuff is coming back, and they're just blowing up stuff and being pretty rude. So you get to be an asshole. I don't know if you consider like a big dick play or more of like I'm a dick play.
What's the like brute force? I'm gonna come at you and deal damage. How is that looking?
The most brute force, I guess you'd have the cat creature ability that where you get all the cats that swing in, but I don't think that's ever used. The biggest bomb spell is this, where you draw half the cards in your library and you can kind of go off from there.
See, but the biggest thing is a spell.
Yeah.
Is that a spell or is it
That's a creature. But now this one, like, compared to those other ones, this one looks like shit.
Yeah,
Everything looks like shit now.
I don't want to say dog shit for this one, but I'll put it in the probably not.
But you put this one in here. Well, I guess something's got to be in dog shit.
Something's got to be a dog shit. And it's just because you've played that before and beaten me.
Fine. I've also protected your ass when we were playing on like New Year's with Trevor and Ryan.
You have.
Everyone's like fucked up, and it's like it was after midnight, so we were
Ryan
all like.
Ryan wasn't even playing anymore. Ryan was playing himself at that point.
He was like playing with himself, basically.
That's what I'm saying. He was not. He all of a sudden
he's like swing.
He has 0 mana, throwing dragons on the field. And I still beat him. And then that's the night when he got your cards all sticky and you said he couldn't play with them anymore.
Yeah, because I was like, dude, I swapped out a bunch of proxies in that deck. And we're like, all right, give him. It's like giving someone the unplugged controller.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Where you're like, hopefully he doesn't ruin
exactly
this.
Exactly what it was.
Now, we love you, Ryan, but you are a menace.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back up. Any of the maybes that are getting moved up by any chance?
No.
Probably not. Okay, because I think...
It's really between these 3.
So, for now, let's move Animar down just before we commit to the final choice.
Refresh me on that third one that's in third place.
Atraxa. This was the...
Atraxa.
So we've got... Let's get rid of all these other ones. So we've got Animar, your boy. We've got Atraxa. This is the angel, Phyrexian angel, where you're trying to get her effect to go off a bunch. You're definitely playing her, and at the very least, even if you can't get your combo going, you've got a 7/7 flying vigilance, death touch, lifelink that gets you to look through 10 cards. So, I mean, it's hard to cast at that much, but this deck has a lot of mana in it, and yeah.
Go down to the power creatures.
There's less so much of power creatures. She is the power creature.
I like that. I do.
And then, yeah, a lot of spells, a lot of other stuff. It's a nice mix of everything because since you want as many different card types to be able to play as many of them, man, 27 lands in the big girl as the commander. But yeah, I've noticed people are getting greedy with their mana bases, and if there's so much other stuff in here to generate mana, they can probably get away with it. So we got that, and then we got the creature-based manual storm deck utilizing cEDH All-Star Gigantosaurus. That's got to be a joke. There's no way there's actually a Oh, they must mean this. I'm like, there's not an actual Gigantosaurus.
What's a Gigantosaurus?
It's like a card it's just a dinosaur that's a 10/10, but it doesn't do anything. I'm pretty sure it's like... Yeah, it's this thing. Where it's 5 green pips for a 10/10, but it just doesn't do anything. Ooh, is that French on there?
It is.
I like how it says English, and it's like clearly not. But I think they were making a joke, basically saying that Gigantosaurus is the Galta.
Well, I do like, honestly, Gigantosaurus. That is a display of wealth where it doesn't really do anything, but you're just going to cast it because you have 5 mana to cast it.
Your perception of what's powerful is so weird.
Oh, so I would say it's between this and Animar.
Okay, so this is...
I do like Atraxa, but...
As soon as we started talking about this one, I get it. And I don't want to bias you at all. My only thinking is if you picked Animar, it would be so different from how you already play Animar. And in the cEDH realm, Selvala is the most similar to what you'd be thinking of, like, in terms of, like, oh, what, like, I just want to play big stuff and, like, swing at people. And
so I don't play cEDH right now?
No. I don't think we've played it with you before.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's something that in the cEDH realm of things, the thing that's most similar to what I think you want to do is probably Selvala over Animar.
Well, I guess you're going to have to build me a Selvala deck now.
And I don't want to, don't let me convince you. I'm just like, that's my 2 cents on it. Like, the way you reacted, you're like, the fucking dinosaur? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, and bonus points if you could get the Gigantosaurus in there. Just for display of wealth.
Oh my God. It won't help. People would be like, what the fuck? The Ulamog, you could at least make the argument for. Or the Emrakul, the 13 mana one that, like, you steal someone's turn. Did you know that that's what that does?
You could get an Emrakul in this deck.
Yeah. I would probably put one in here because, like, fuck it.
Okay. This is the winner.
Yeah, that's the... where you get... Because we're going to play one-on-one.
We're going to play one-on-one.
To test it. And then you're gonna get the Emrakul and steal my turn.
Yeah.
I mean, basically what you do is you control me. And you can make me, like, kill myself.
Yeah.
You know, I've noticed that all the other, like, YouTubers, if you ever say, like kill yourself or anything, they always, like, bleep it out. And I'm like, is that because, like, YouTube demonetizes you?
Probably.
Or something?
I don't know.
So I guess this one's double demonetized since it's not monetized at all. Because we said kill yourself. Oh, but you could make me do that. You could make someone do that. It's hilarious.
I'd go with
in the game, obviously.
And I forgot the 8th is in here, like King Kong.
Yeah, you get King Kong, and you can probably mix in your own combos. I wonder if they play Yisan. I don't see it, but
you could put it in here. Well, I will select this as my cEDH deck with the stipulation that Emrakul is added. And Gigantosaurus.
God, no. It doesn't do anything. Emrakul literally steals a turn.
It is a display of wealth.
5 green pips for a 10/10?
How many people have those stupid statue lions in their front yard and koi ponds and all that shit that doesn't do anything but say, I have money? That's what I want.
They're not trying to win a game.
They're trying to win the game of life.
Fine. You know what? We'll put it in. We'll put it in, and then you'll be like, holy shit, this card is dead fucking weight, and I want more Emrakuls and Ulamogs in the deck.
And I'll play them all.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. That was really fun.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm glad. I'm actually excited to build this for you. I'll start working on a list.
That can be the next one.
Playing it. All right. So, do you want to send us off? What do we always say?
See you in hell.
Yeah.